Hi everyone. For today's book review, I want to share with you one of my all-time favorite books, and a book that is quite hard to beat in its subject matter. This is the epic 882-page hardcover book, Japanese Cruisers of the Pacific War, written by Eric Lacroix and Linton Wells II. This is an epic book, 50 years in the making, 882 pages long, over 250 line drawings, some of them laser scanned or copied meticulously from original plans from Japanese archives. It also features digitally enhanced photos, newly discovered photos of some ships, and in particular some of the cruisers in their final moments as they're sinking. This is truly a phenomenal piece of work. And for anyone who absolutely loves technical details, plans, diagrams, cutaways, cross-sections, armament facts and figures, then look no further. This is the single reference book for all the Japanese cruisers that were involved in the Second World War. Rather, the cruiser classes, going from the 5,500-ton four-funnelers, those little slim light cruisers, the experimental Yubari, and going right through, including the heavy cruisers, the Atago class. We have the ever formidable Mogami class, all the way through to my personal favorites, the Tone and the Chikuma, with those 4 turrets all laid out at the front. But then in addition to all of those, it has the later classes, the Agano, the Yodo classes. And thankfully it also includes the smaller vessels, the ones that are next to unknown, the 3 K-class training cruisers, the Kashi, Katori, Kashima, and incredibly the 2 cruisers that were built for China and then were ultimately salvaged after the battle between China and Japan in the late 1930s, and were then placed into Japanese service, one of them becoming the Yasoshima. And again, I apologize for my terrible pronunciation. But you can see some pictures up here. This is a comprehensive look at every ship. Even some sections include some of the cruiser projects that were studied and considered but never built. The layout follows the same basic format. Each chapter looks at the genesis of each cruiser class, what went towards their construction, their armor, their armaments, their basic physical features, and then their war careers, damage, refits, in some cases rebuilds, and eventual fates. Along the way, we get cutaways, we get diagrams, we get cross-sections of all the ships, of various layouts, various refits. This is truly exhaustive and comprehensive. Model makers will absolutely love this because it will help them keep track of the period that they want to build their ships and what particular AA weaponry they need to add on if their ship is going to be modeled towards much later in the war. The detail is just phenomenal. You can even, with some of them, with the cutaways are so detailed with their conning towers, you could visualize a 3D walkthrough because they are just that well broken out and annotated. This is a technical history and an operational history. This is not a series of personal reminiscences. So for those who are after sailors, admirals, officers' perspectives of what it was like to serve on these ships in the war, you're going to have to look elsewhere. This is not that type of book. This is facts, figures, analysis, and histories of these ships, how they looked, how they performed, how they changed, and ultimately how they were sunk. And some of these photos are quite graphic, seeing some of the vessels blow up or in mid-sinking. it brings home the brutality of war. I cannot rave enough about this book. It is stunning. It is also quite heavy. You could easily knock somebody out with it. And ultimately, it's an absolute 5 captain's hats. You just can't go beyond this for the sheer number of detail and the fact that they've basically incorporated all these classes into one volume. It is 882 pages, so it is quite a big volume. And as you saw earlier, me struggling to hold it, you're going to need a big place to put it on your shelf, or at least a heavy coffee table to plonk it on there. If you love technical aspects, go and get it already if you don't have it already. If you are considering it, then you will be rewarded with a gazillion tons of information, facts, figures, cutaways, and detail about how these ships were built, operated, changed, and ultimately destroyed. And you'll probably find some more interesting information about some of the lesser-known vessels, particularly the older, earlier light cruisers, and such as the K-class and the ex-Chinese cruisers as well. So, there you have it. One of my favorite books, an absolute stunning book full of incredible detail and a benchmark by which naval books should be held up against. So that's Japanese Cruisers of the Pacific War. If you don't have it, go check it out and add it to your library. And if there are any other books about the Japanese Navy in the Pacific War, let me know in the comments below. I do have a few shelves dedicated to them, and if I have it, I will absolutely review it for you. So, until next time, enjoy and happy reading, everyone.